Hello racing fans and a warm welcome to Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best, bet with WSB. Well, there's plenty of action this weekend, local racing. Of course, it is Saturday, a double header. We race at Durbanville and Turfentine, and then we move over to Greyville on Sunday. And whilst all this is happening, I actually got it in front of me because it is the Dubai World Cup, isn't it? There's some high-class action, and I know that World Sports Betting will have things on offer for that prestigious race meeting, the Meydan Racecourse, the Dubai World Cup. On Saturday at Turfentine, there's a few features to look forward to. The 2-year-old features, the Proteus Stakes, and of course the Pretty Polly Stakes. You've got the Colorado King Stakes. And yeah, there is some quality racing at Turfentine on Saturday. Durbanville, well, we'll see what happens there on Saturday because it looks like a highly competitive card. And then it is Sunday, and that is at Greyville, where we have one of the top line features, and of course that is the King's Cup, and that is a race that has been won by some very good horses in the past. But we have 4 to follow on Trackside, and we are going to have 1 at Turfentine, 1 at Durbanville, and 2 at Greyville. So away we go with our 4 horses to follow, and we'll begin in race number 3 at Turfentine on Saturday, and I'm going with a horse that made a promising introduction, and although she drifted out in the betting come race time, she was quietly fancied by the stable, and I already thought that the comment that Joe Soma made in the computer form when asked about his first timer, he said, get the salt and pepper ready. Her name is Ava on Toast. She's a daughter of Twice Over, and you could see why he liked her first time out, because she was all at sea from the word go. She was slow away, her mind was not in racing, and she only got going when the race was over. She flew up over the final 200 meters, and she was a close-up third in a quick time, 22.9 seconds. She was the fastest finisher over that 11:60. So this time around, where she goes 1400 meters, and we know how well bred she is. She is a half sister to a horse that's done superbly well for Joe in Red Saxon, a Group 1 winner as a 3-year-old, winning the South African Classic. So he knows the family well, and this filly, well, the further the better. And after watching her on debut and on her pedigree, she is crying out for the extra distance. Number 6, Ava on Toast, and I think with natural improvement, and there's certain to be improvement from one run to the next, she looks very hard to beat here. Number 6, Ava on Toast. So that is the 1 runner at Turfentine. Then I mentioned we got the 1 runner at Durbanville. Now at Durbanville, I had a look at all the races, and there are a few horses that stand out. Some of them look to have 1 or 2 dangers. The race that I've gone for is race number 7, which is the Cape Racing Sales, fillies and mares, 1,000 meters. And there's some form to go around here, but I'm going to be firmly in the camp of the Justin Snake runner called Distinction. And she's a daughter of Gimme the Green Light. She's a 3-year-old who's had 11 starts, and her record will read 2 wins and 3 seconds, a third, and 2 fourths. And she has been honest throughout her career. She's a real trier. You can't fault her form. And one could say that of those 2 seconds that she's had, 3 seconds that she's had, she could have actually made that 3 wins, because if you go a few runs back, I remember that race clearly when she was just touched off in that photo finish with wow. That was desperately close, and that photo didn't go her way. So that day she was a bit unlucky not to notch up another career win. But when you look at her recent form, well, she ran second, I think it was in that ladies race, if I'm not mistaken, partnered by Danielle Riverland, she ran a good second. She then won, beating Hunting Trip, and you could say Hunting Trip's got the advantage of being better drawn, drawn 1 at Durbanville. And then last time out, well, this one is worth a big mention. And I'll tell you why, because she was sitting towards the back end of the field, and she found herself in a position where she did not get a clear run. And remarkably, she still ran a good third, and it was a close-up third, under a length behind Shantastic. So under the circumstances, I thought it was a great run from her, number 9 Distinction. And, you know, she's a versatile horse. I've watched her throughout her career. She can race up with the early pace and the early speed, and I've seen her go start to finish, or she can come from off the speed if they wish to. But it will all depend on Grant van Niekerk and what he decides to do with regards to tactics. Drawn 9 out of 9 here, because he knows her well. He's 1 from 1. He's unbeaten on her, and he'll partner her again, number 9 Distinction. So I'm hoping things go according to plan, whatever the tactics are. Because you are going to get a solid, honest run for your money, because that is what her form represents in black and white. She never runs a bad race, and I'm hoping she can put her best foot forward. Number 9 Distinction, that will be at Durbanville. And then at Greyville, I've picked out 2 horses, and let me get to it. Yep, this is the 2. Race number 3 is over 1,600 meters. It's a maiden plate. And I think an absolute standout here will have to be this horse called Reach for the Stars. It is Miller and Mudley that will team up. He's had 2 starts, both over 1,200 meters. Actually debuted at the course and then went down the lane at Hollywood Bets Scottsville last time out. And when I had a look at both those replays closely, of course the first replay when finishing 4th, that is a super powerful form line. Roy's July, Magic, Captain Rocket, Unsolved Riddle, McCartney, and a subsequent win, and Fine Admiral coming out to win. So he's one of the few that finished in the top half of the field that hasn't won yet. And then last time out, it was a good second from Wiley Riley, who beat him out the maidens the other day. Wiley Riley came through to run a very good post-maiden behind a horse called the Gliding Fish that was coming off a break from the Mark Dixon stable. So the form lines are looking good. But I think more importantly and more especially, it's now the distance. He's been 1,200, 2 runs. There'll be no excuses this time around, because if you pull out his pedigree, he's a half-brother to Star of Silver, and she was trained by Justin Snaith. And her career wins read 3 times over 1,400 meters, 1 time over 1,600 meters. And this horse is going to enjoy and appreciate the extra distance. Number 2, Reach for the Stars. So I think he looks ready to win now. He's had the 2 runs. He's going over a distance that's going to suit him much better. He's nicely drawn at 2, and there'll be no excuses on Sunday for horse number 2, Reach for the Stars. And we're hoping that we'll be doing just that after he wins. And then on to the main event on Sunday, which is the King's Cup. It's a listed race over 1,600 meters. And this race has attracted a small but competitive field. 7 runners go to post. There's lots of form to go around. And nice to see the visitors now in town. I say the visitors, I'm talking about Glenn Cotson's runners that are in town, taking on the locals here. And the runner I'm going for would possibly be the obvious horse in the race. His name is Captain Fontaine. He's a 6-time winner from 13 runs. And he's done some traveling in his career, and he's also changed stables. But trainer Gard Puller, where he started off his racing career, has always rated him from day 1. Since the day I interviewed Gard at Scottsville, he's always known that this horse has got a bright future ahead of him. And the plan was always to send him off to Hong Kong, which of course, as we all know, didn't happen. It took him some time to get that 5th career win, which came at his penultimate start, but he's since gone back to back, and I'd like to think that this horse has got his mojo back. It seems that way, the way he won over 1,200 meters, a distance that these days looks to be on the sharp side for him. He really won a good race beating African Skyline, who is a useful sort from the stable of Gardpuller. And then last time out, wow, I think that race told us where God's got him at this stage in his career, because Sereno Moodley just said patiently towards the back of the field. He never panicked at any stage. He knew what type of horse he had underneath him over that 1600 meter trip. And when he asked the question, that was it. This horse picked them up easily, cozily. He got the job done very comfortably, number 6, Captain Fontaine. And I think against this type of field, he's possibly the right horse in the race, the horse that sets the standard. And I'm hoping that he can do Trackside good on Sunday and notch up his 7th career win. Race 6, the King's Cup, number 6, Captain Fontaine. That's it, guys. 1 at Turfentine, 1 at Durbanville, 2 at Greyville. You got 4 horses to follow this weekend. There will be 2 trebles up on the World Sports betting menu. Lots of action from around the globe this weekend. And the Maidan racecourse, well, that is where all eyes will be on a global stage. It is the Dubai World Cup. But locally, we got Durbanville, we got Turfentine, we got Greyville. Everything is happening. And on behalf of World Sports Betting, thanks to all the punters, but more importantly and more especially, thanks to you, the valued customer. You have a blast, find all the winners, make a huge profit, and until next week, you take care. Salani Gasly.